I inherited the land from my father, just over 100 acres tucked into a quiet valley. It wasn't flashy property, but it was valuable. It had a registered boundary survey, updated tax records, and one important feature most people ignored: an old flood control dam at the edge of the land. I lived out of state, so I didn't visit often. I had no reason to, until the letter arrived. It welcomed me to an HOA I had never heard of. Confused, I opened an online map, and my stomach dropped. A full neighborhood had appeared where my pasture used to be. Streets, sidewalks, driveways. 35 homes, all built squarely inside my property lines. I contacted the HOA immediately. The president didn't deny it. She told me their developer claimed the land was unused and effectively abandoned. She said the homes were already sold and that I couldn't expect them to undo progress just because I suddenly showed up. I emailed her copies of my deed, the original survey, and my tax payments going back years. She never replied. Construction continued. Families moved in. Kids played in yards that technically belonged to me. And every one of those homes sat downstream from my dam. I sent certified letters to the HOA, the developer, and the city, warning them that the dam was privately owned flood control infrastructure. I told them it required active management and that they were building in a designated floodplain. They ignored every warning. Instead, the HOA sent me a notice, claiming my dam was a safety hazard and demanding I remove it at my own expense. That's when my lawyer stepped in. He explained something the HOA never bothered to check. The dam was legally registered and protected. Only the landowner had the authority to operate it. And if warnings were ignored, liability shifted entirely to the trespassers. So we filed a formal notice restoring the dam to a manual flow operation, exactly as it had been designed decades earlier. 2 weeks later, the rain came. A slow, steady storm that lasted all night. Water levels rose exactly as the engineers once predicted. At dawn, I drove to the dam, unlocked the old control gate, and followed the original operating instructions. I opened it. Not fully, not recklessly, just enough to release pressure into the natural floodplain. The water flowed downhill where the HOA had built. First the streets flooded, then the yards, then garages and basements. Cars floated, foundations cracked. Emergency crews shut the entire development down before noon. By the next morning, the city issued evacuation orders. Court followed quickly. The judge reviewed the land records, the ignored warnings, and the violation notice the HOA had sent me. Then he ruled that the HOA had knowingly built on private land and within a controlled flood zone. The ruling was brutal. The HOA was ordered to demolish all 35 homes, restore the land, and pay damages, fines, and legal fees. I kept my land,